we'd spoken for years about working together and never actually managed to make it happen. And then my good friend Suresh, big up Suresh.
Big up Suresh.
He choreographed the session, and because it was the first time we worked together, and I was certain that we were going to do more work beyond that day. It was all quite relaxed. We went out on a Sunday night, and then we did this session on the Monday. But on the Sunday night, we went out for drinks in Brixton, and the conversation kind of turned to MC Duke had just passed away, and Conrad was like, "Oh, I'm from a hip hop background." It's like, what? Because obviously I associate him with drum and bass. And he was like, no, I was, part of Silver Bullet, and then Suresh was like pulling up these videos, and we were seeing Conrad's in the Silver Bullet videos dancing, and he was part of that crew.
No.
So
way.
that whole kind of 20 seconds to comply, and that's Conrad's.
Unreal.
Yeah, he literally just sort of left school and started getting into and was in music straight away. It's like never had
born into the games.
Yeah, totally.
Killa Kela podcast. KillaKelaOfficial.com.
Street Culture TV.
Beatbox created.
Killa Kela.
And we're here to talk about world music and street culture.
Killa Kela podcast.
Of course you love doing it, 'cause you've done 500 fucking things. Yeah. But, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Killa Kela podcast live and direct, Central London, or as central as you need to be. Choose to be, care to be. You know where you don't want to be anywhere else. We're banging the centre. Okay, people, our sponsors, the mighty GK Nifty Heads, have 10,000 play-to-earn Graph Punks NFTs to give away. Get ready as London's white trash goes blockchain digital with Bitcoin Cash tokens locked into them to claim. Get yourselves over to the website gkniftyheads.com and play to earn now. Big shout out to all the sharers and carers, people from the very beginning that have been sharing the love. And love is what we have in the room today. Oh my goodness. A very dear friend of mine. 1/3, or rather 2/3, sitting in front of you of Roadbloc, but prestigiously original member of the Scratch Perverts. Gus Snipes. I mean, the list can go on because he's a stalwart in the culture and the scene, particularly in the UK, internationally known, globally successful. DJ Prime Cuts.
How you doing, man? Lovely intro, thank you.
Was that
very
better than the
much,
last
man.
one? It was.
Yeah,
Wasn't
it was. I love the Gutter Snipes mention, man. That immediately takes me back to some magical times, man.
Does it?
Yeah,
Does it?
I mean, that year was. 94 was when the record came out. We recorded it in 93, but 94 was, that was Illmatic. That was Porter Said Dummy, and our record that sort of came into the country as an import. It was like an imported record. The whole thing was sort of orchestrated so it would arrive as if it was like an American product. So
that is crazy.
It was
that
jackets made in Canada, which is what
Really?
all the imports had at the time. So it arrived as a sealed, imported record with all different colours. There's a multitude of kind of like versions of it. Yeah, it was an amazing project to be part of.
That has a real positive slant, particularly for its time, and even more so now. I would argue that when something's imported, there's this almost certain expectation that it's from the place of origin.
Of course, yeah. I think it was such an American-sounding record, both with sort of Cell One's sort of mid-Atlantic flow. Size production was, real top drawer stuff at the time, and I think it often gets overlooked as. I mean, I'm not saying this because I was part of the crew, but it's one of the best hip hop tunes ever from this country. But it never really gets celebrated because it was almost like an American record.
Wow!
It didn't feel like a UK hip hop record. It felt like a hip hop record.
Damn.
From the packaging to the music, to the lyrics, the flow.
Now you come to mention it. There was this, line of artists, Scientists of Sound, Caliphs, Brotherhood. These kind of they had this particular lane that felt like it had an import edge to it. It was the professionalism.
Yeah, I think I'm glad you said Brotherhood because I think that's Big ups, Dexter.
Yes, come
How
on,
you
Deep.
doing, mate? How
Yes,
you doing?
yes.
I
Yes.
was chatting to him just earlier today, actually.
Saxon, Uriah Heep,
yeah.
sure. You know, you know.
But yeah, Brotherhood had that kind of the style of the artwork and the pack. You know, it wasn't just the music, kind of whole package. I thought was a real sort of. It was a different thing at the time. It felt like a kind of. I say this mid-Atlantic, but it's like it felt like a real kind of mixture of UK and American kind of approach to hip hop. And some great records.
Yeah.
So yeah, big up to the guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have continued from, selector to scratch DJ turntablist, successfully, winning trophies and admiration.
Best Baby Butlins 1974.
That's it. See, it began early. See? So you don't get laughs like this on normal podcast. But if you ever get privy to, see Prime Cuts' attic of treasures in the studio sense, and even more lucky to be in the presence of it, you have gone on to amass a huge studio with production and multi-genre, learnings of disciplines.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of an obsession, if I'm honest. So I get very, very obsessed about minutiae of certain aspects of studio equipment. So I think the last kind of like a studio obsession I had was 12-bit samplers. So I would then acquire and a hybrid has to have analog filters. So I then acquired every single 12-bit analog filter.
That's not normal.
sampler.
That ain't normal.
And it took me like about 4 years to do it. Yeah. And then it's just.
But you did it, yeah.
But
wow.
I use the equipment. It's not just a kind of collection. Everything has a reason to be there, and this most recent project is a bit of a deviation from having a room full of amazing stuff. In that I set myself a mission to only use two pieces of equipment. Mm-hmm. So I'm in this room, and sometimes if you look at all that lovely equipment, you're like, oh, what shall I use? But I just tightened it down to two pieces of equipment, just like a TR-808 analog drum machine and a SP-1200 12-bit sampler, and that's it. I can't use anything else. I have to make the whole tune.
That's amazing.
And those two pieces of equipment, they marry so well. You kind of have to go some to make a mess of it. It kind of the tunes almost write themselves. It's a stunning way of like making music, sampling, programming the drums, and because you haven't got a computer or a computer screen to stare at, or to steer you away to Discogs and buy stuff. You focus very much on what you're doing, or you focus very much on every choice that you make, with regards to the sampling of different sounds. And because the 1200 only has 10 seconds, you're very limited as to how much you can actually sample. And it has a beautiful character to the sound, as does the 808. I mean,
it really does.
It's just that combo. I just love using it.
What's the hit rate? What's the turnaround? How many songs? Like if you were to press hit and start moving sounds around, what's the rate in which you're saying, "Geez, that's a good one. That's a good one."
The other thing that's great about it is that almost nothing ends up on the cutting room floor. You always end up with something that you want to put out. Mm-hmm. Because you can't procrastinate. Like I say, the choices you make. You're so focused on the sound because there's the two pieces of equipment and this one only has 10 seconds of sample time. So you can't try this or try that. It's like, right, this is the sound, that's the bit I'm going to take, I'm going to do that. And then because you're just totally focused on the moment, you can actually, the rhythms that come together, I think, are quite unique in that, there's nothing else for your brain to sort of be detached from. You're in the moment. And it's super quick. Like the Together track. That beat was made, I'm not joking, the beat is made in about 15 minutes from start to finish.
Wow.
And then it's just a question of recording what you've done and then using something like Logic to chop up and arrange.
Yeah, so you take the sound.
I hope everyone's still awake.
All it is, thank you. So you take as independent stems, or do you record them in?
It's kind of a combination because there's I'm not going to give away I've got a real secret weapon with the 808, and I put everything other than the kick, snare and clap through a particular bit of kit that kind of squashes and mangles the sound a bit and makes it a bit more sort of, not distorted, but just really vibey. It's like a guitar pedal that is a compressor.
That's all you're going to get.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is, because it's so strange when you're the listener and it's not that you don't value the process, but it's such a delivered thing, isn't it? And you don't know that, well, if we took that away, then you'd get that.
Yeah,
it's not,
sure.
It's unwritten, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one really for explaining what the process is or putting any weight on the process. The end product is what matters. But this particular way of working works for me. It may not work for anyone else, but for me, it's like a magical kind of combination of just two pieces of equipment. Let's go in, chop up some raw airs, and make some, you know, contemporary, up-tempo, crazy rhythms.
God, that's fun. And on that note, so part of these shortcomings of technology is this release here. If you're not looking and only listening, then you'll fail to see what I'm pointing at. This is the latest release with Monsieur Pine Cuts called Together, which is a very important release, to say the least.
Yeah, there is obviously gravity to this situation because MC Conrad, we recorded this back in April and he's very sadly passed away 5 days after we recorded.
That is... How do you explain that?
I mean, we'd spoken for years about working together and never actually managed to make it happen. And then my good friend Suresh, big up Suresh.
Big up Suresh.
He choreographed the session, and because it was the first time we worked together, and I was certain that we were going to do more work beyond that day. It was all quite relaxed. We went out on a Sunday night, and then we did this session on the Monday. But on the Sunday night, we went out for drinks in Brixton, and the conversation kind of turned to MC Duke had just passed away, and Conrad was like, "Oh, I'm from a hip hop background." It's like, what? Because obviously I associate him with drum and bass. And he was like, no, I was, part of Silver Bullet. And then Suresh was like pulling up these videos, and we were seeing Conrad's in the Silver Bullet videos dancing, and he was part of that crew.
No.
So
way.
yeah, that whole kind of 20 seconds to comply, and that's Conrad's.
Unreal.
Yeah, he literally just sort of left school and started getting into and was in music straight away. It's like never had
born into the game.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so that was an amazing. And we're talking about music and fashion at the time of that kind of, I was sort of same age as him, so he would have been sort of 16 around that sort of time, 16, 17 years old, and listening, going to the same kind of gigs, going to the same concerts, and being fully involved in Silver Bullet. That
is incredible. Little known.
No, I mean it was totally news to me. It was just like, wow. I think we always just assume if someone's in one particular genre, that's it.
Yeah.
You weren't from something else. So to find that out is a very, very sweet story. To find that out that he was part of the same kind of movement, the same kind of time as me.
What kind of what was the process? What was it like working in the studio with Conrad?
Just relaxed. I mean, we'd started maybe 4 or 5 different things. We did a live acoustic, me on the drums and him doing some spoken word stuff of his very the well-known lyrics. So we did sort of spoken word versions of that. And it wasn't until quite near the end of the session when I played him it's me flipping some Royers. It started out as a tribute to Royers, who stopped touring last year. I thought it would be nice to try and make some like 130, 140, 150, 160 kind of tear out 808 SP1200 versions of his classic songs. So I played Conrad's the Together track, which is me chopping up Love Will Bring Us Back Together by Royers, and said, look, can you do me a 888 special, like a little intro thing for playing out? Played him the beat. He's like, no, I'll write something to this. So he laid down on the floor for like half hour, 45 minutes, and penned what you hear on the record as a kind of chorus with him.
You can believe your luck, right?
Interweaving. Wow. Yeah, well, when he was laying it down, it's just so lovely because it's a really unifying lyric. It's a really positive, unifying lyric. And the way it was left was like, okay, if you take this away, I'll send you the bits. You can write a couple of verses and come back, and then 5 days later he's gone. It's
Rest in peace, Conrad. Wow.
yeah, very, very tragic, but also very, very beautiful that we've got this, document.
Show the people, because we've got one on the table as well.
Hand painted by myself in the back garden with stencil artwork on the cover and the actual PVC sleeve.
So this is so authentic. So you actually did you did the print on the sleeve as well as the
Yeah.
plastic.
So it's like a stencil thing.
That is no mean feat getting that patterned up.
Will Bank, big up Will Bankhead, who designed the font, and then these are just two little figures that I've glued together.
That is so cute.
We also have boy girl ones as well out in the wild, and Honest Johns are distributing the records as we speak.
That doesn't age, does it? Putting out records doesn't age. It still comes with its, there's a certain threshold where it's just like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing with my money and my time and my energy? But then there's this real sense of, ownership and take it to that mountain.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, records are still my kind of conduit to music. Record shops are still I can use those outlets as a way of checking out new music because it's not so vast as just pure digital. And I like the fact that if you make a physical product, it's there for, it won't get lost on a hard drive in 5 years. There's something tangible about it. And I mean, people talk about the warmth and the sound of vinyl, but the cut on that particular record is it sounds different from the digital, and it's perfect.
Really,
it's perfect.
Okay, so let's stick with this. So the trained ears were professional here. define perfect from a record vinyl point of view.
Obviously, it needs to be cut loud, but you don't want it to sort of pushing into distortion. But there is something magical that happens in the top and bottom frequencies when you cut something to vinyl. There's like a cut, and it's not an inflation of something. There's just something, an excitement to the sound that you don't get with pure digital. For me personally, and it's a process that can actually sort of destroy something. If you don't get it right. So. Big up Curved who did the mastering on this. They did a cracking job.
What's your take on releasing a record of someone who passed away? Because there must have been some clear and ahhing.
Oh, for the first 2 weeks before I even went in and tried to finish something, I was just sort of wrestling with the very concept of doing it. But in speaking to lots of friends and family, everyone was like, no, you've got to do it. You got to at least give it a go and see what you can come up with and see if you can make a record out of just a chorus. So that that's what I busied myself to do. And I think Conrad's voice sounds phenomenal on the record, so I'm super pleased with how he sounds on it. And like I say, it's this lovely uplifting lyric, and even though it's not a complete thing, to me it does actually make sense musically, having verse instrumental, chorus instrumental, chorus, and then at the end I scratch his voice as the kind of outro, and it goes from 130 BPM all the way up to 174, which is the standard drum and bass rhythm speed, should I say, BPM, just because that always works. And I figured, maybe some of the guys in that scene will still be able to play this record because it will end on the right tempo for
them to mix it in
the next tune. So, I mean, it wasn't something that kind of came naturally to me to do because I felt very hesitant. But everyone being sort of so behind the idea, and then meeting Conrad's family at his funeral and how supportive they've been of the project. I've got to send a massive shout out to his family, especially Esther, and the MC Conrad Foundation and the Remembering MC Conrad's Instagram account. People should definitely check that out.
100%. Legacy, it might be a bit morbid this, but excuse me. With Legacy, you never know, like how it's perceived when we pass, and sometimes we can be quite self-absorbed in thinking that we've created the wheel, so why not let it, it'll run its course. In technology and people's attention spans these days, how quickly things just keep on moving. It's so hard to attain a sense of relevance.
Sure.
Even when you are here.
Yeah, I mean, we did I say we because I'm working quite closely with Suresh on a kind of, a promotion campaign for this thing. Neither of us know what we're doing. But bless him for the effort that he's putting in, and he's having to deal with me on a daily basis. And yesterday we posted this sort of almost 3-minute long reel to Instagram, and while it's done well, I am genuinely surprised by the lack of sort of sharing from certain people who were very vocal about his passing.
Really?
And now we've got a chance to actually raise some dough for his son.
Which is what the record's about.
So, yeah, I needed people to sort of jump on and get the numbers moving,
People that knew Conrad personally and such.
Yeah, and I'm just, just generally people who've got good numbers online who could, tap share.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't you? That's strange. And I know that it's a big ask for someone to watch a 3-minute thing on Insta. We knew that was going to be, unrealistic that millions of people are going to watch the whole thing. But I genuinely thought that we would have everyone liking and sharing it, because the like is okay, but the share is the most important thing. That's the most important thing.
So what are we doing?
Innit?
Share it.
Yeah, sort it out.
Yeah. Come on. Put your money where the fingers are, and
that's it. Yeah.
How hard is it? Yeah. But that is the age-old dilemma with social media in general, isn't it? The algorithm, the forcing of trying to convince people on any level to support things that are worthy or not worthy. It's just general circulation of information.
Mm-hmm. And this is a very direct thing. The money that comes from the sales of this is going to go to his family. Yeah. So, get behind it, man.
Yeah. Can you get it on digital as well?
Yes, everywhere. I mean, obviously streaming isn't going to bring any revenue in, so purchases is what we need. Yeah. I put a clutch of the vinyl on Bandcamp that sold out, literally sold out in about an hour.
That's
so
incredible.
that was nice. That was nice. They went so quick. But like I say, there's some more records out in the wild. It's super limited.
Yeah.
And I almost certainly won't be doing a repress, and if I did do a repress, there's no way I'm painting them again.
No. Yeah, it did cross my mind.
I think I ingested about a pound of aerosol paint in doing that.
Yeah, it's not cheap either.
But I'm not complaining. It's a lovely thing to do. It's a nice personal sort of feeling invested in the thing, physically, painting them myself.
Yeah.
But no, they are. Digital's out there. It's everywhere. So if you want to copy it, you can get it.
Bandcamp.
Yeah, I mean Apple Music, Spotify. I mean the streaming sites. You can.
But the hard copy mainly on Bandcamp.
Well, I mean anywhere.
Really?
Anywhere. I mean obviously Bandcamp is great because the most of the money goes to the artist. So you get 70% of the. So if someone pays £1, I get 70p will come to my account. So and I'm going to give it a month or two, and then hopefully we'll be sitting on a decent sum of money.
God, that's good. What are you waiting for? Get yourselves involved. You know what I mean? Get yourself a record player. Get yourself a record. Just get that energy up and get sharing, right?
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, this is one hell of a mission brief, and this is nothing short of what we come to expect from Prime Cuts. Just right place, right time, putting all the effort in, all the energy. I see you on the turntables. I still think to myself, there's just not enough praise and credit you can get when every DJ I speak to just do not know how you do what you do with your hands, and I've been so privileged to see you do it.
Thank you.
You'll be talking. It's almost like multitasking. It's like some people. They cook up and they talk. You know, they're frying something. You're like, yeah, oops, sorry, wrong. It's fucking hilarious. You know, it's amazing. Even the bloopers are the best. Like, it's like a deck of cards that's falling and being reconstructed as it happens.
We had a few little moments, didn't we? When
Yeah.
we get building the Roadbloc thing where it's just like, ooh,
This
is working.
We're going for it, and then all of a sudden, sorry. So it's just in the background. Sorry. That's fucking great. We have the best time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun putting that set together, man.
Yeah.
It just happened, right?
Yeah, it just happened.
No, it almost just made itself.
Yeah.
It felt that way anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's like, you know, building a club set, but with two sort of superstars
Yes.
in front of me.
Three,
You
like
know what I
we
mean?
all just, and we are going to be doing more shows next year.
Hell yeah.
Which we're really looking forward to. We've got some new ammunition in the vaults, and new sets to be had, right?
Yeah, damn right.
You know what I mean? Can't wait. Yeah? Just have to avoid the Jack Daniels, won't we? Don't know what you mean. Hold on. Hey, that discussion wasn't in the right. Joe, man, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you very much for having me, man.
Always, my brother. Always. Love you. Right, Killa Kela podcast out. It was out of fashion. Don't know what you're doing with your day, but we're definitely going to be getting on with some more street culture. Listen, sharing is caring. All right, don't talk to anyone I wouldn't. Remember, crime don't pay, but neither did I. Take care of yourselves, people. Easy.
Wicked, man. Thank you.